Hey, thanks for watching the last episode of Break the Glass in 2020. So this is gonna be our last episode of the year, and so what better way of finishing off the year with our wine YouTube channel than just highlighting like what my favorite wines have been this year. So we're just gonna try 3 wines today. We're gonna have a white, a red, and then a bubbly rosé. And then they're just 3 of my standouts that are like my standbys. They're all around like $15 and less. And I think they're all actually less than 15. So they're all really affordable, all super yummy, and just good standbys to have on deck. And they've been my standbys throughout 2020. We drank a lot of wine in 2020. Little did we know when we started this YouTube channel a year ago that this year we would have like all the time in the world to just sit inside and drink wine and focus on the YouTube channel. We started the idea for Break the Glass just about a year ago at the very end of 2019. My boyfriend and I, we had just started dating, and he was like, hey, I have this awesome idea. Let's start a YouTube channel together. And I was like, wow, he's crazy. We've been dating for like 2 weeks. But he saw how much I liked wine and thought that it could be a really good idea to get it going and to do it together. And hey, we're still doing it now a year later. I thought I would be super awkward, and I still think I am. And it's still a little uncomfy, but at least like it keeps me like involved in like my favorite wines and sharing them with friends and family and anyone else who wants to learn a little bit more about wine. So yeah, so this is our last episode of 2020. Hopefully we'll have a lot more in 2021, but for now, let's just go through my favorites from the year. So first up, for one of my favorite wines that I've had this year, and I've been drinking this wine for years now, it's so good. But this is the Chateau de la Ragotiere. I probably butchered that maybe, I don't speak French. But so this is a Muscadet from the Loire Valley in France. This guy is just, it's $12. Super affordable, amazingly delicious. And so the grape is Muscadet, and it comes from the Loire Valley, which is closer to the ocean in France. So in this wine, you get like a lot of that like ocean minerality, like that fresh ocean air in your glass of wine, and it's so good. I remember when I was working at that wine shop that I was at for a while, and I used to be, I wasn't even 21 yet, and I was working there ringing people up. I knew nothing about the wines, but I always saw people checking out with this bottle of wine. People always wanted it. It was always in their hands, and so I figured, hey, like once I turn 21, I gotta check it out. And so I did, like right away. I tried this bottle of wine, and it was so yummy. I was just so impressed by the minerality of it, and like it's just super refreshing. So yeah, I really love this bottle. And I ended up finding out that, so my friend that owns that wine shop that I worked at, he actually knows the winemaker pretty well, pretty well for someone who lives over in France. And she actually, when she came to the US a while ago, one of her stops on her visits was the wine shop that we worked at. So super cool to know that he has this connection with this winemaker. I just think it's always really special when you know who the person is behind the bottle of wine. Her name is Amelie, and she just makes really clean, beautiful, organic bottles of wine that are really affordable as well. So that was super neat to find out about it after the fact. And then on top of that, I went into just like the Whole Foods literally right down the road for me, and this bottle was in there. So super cool that I can get it. It was in Vermont when I lived there and worked at the wine shop, but now it's in Texas, so always fun when you can get like a familiar bottle of wine from far away. So we're gonna try a little bit of it. Yeah, again, this guy is just $12. It's a really, really, really good steal. It smells so good. It's just really, it's like uplifting on the nose. You like smell it, and it's just bright and fresh, and it just kind of gives you a little bit of like a pick-me-up when you smell it. It smells so great. It's amazing. We just had this with salmon tonight. We already opened up the bottle and had like a glass each with the salmon, but it was, yeah, it went perfectly with it. It goes well with anything. You also don't need to have anything to drink it. It's just a really, really, really good standby for whatever situation that you're drinking it in. Okay, and now one of my favorite reds that I've had this year, and again, I've had this bottle of wine for like so many years in the past, the Tinto Negro from Argentina. This guy's from Mendoza, which is where I lived for a little bit, and it's 100% Malbec, which is the grape that is known for, you know, being most prominent down there in Mendoza. Argentina is known for their Malbec. When you hear Malbec, you think of Argentina. And so, of course, I drank a ton of Malbec when I was there. And so this guy, the Tinto Negro, is only $11, so it's a steal. It's so good. I like don't feel bad ever buying it because it's only $11 and I'm really cheap, and even I can get that. So yeah, I think that everyone should try this. When I lived in Argentina, I made sure to bring back like a few of like my favorite bottles of wine. And keep in mind, like when I lived there, I turned 21 while I was there, so I knew nothing about wine yet. I thought, when I tried this bottle, and I thought it was like the best thing ever. I thought it was like the best thing that I had ever had in my life, this $11 bottle of wine. And I mean, honestly, at that point, maybe like it very well could have been the best bottle of wine that I had ever had. But of course, you know, I'm bringing my gifts back to bring home to people. And my friend that owned the wine shop that I worked at, I wanted to, you know, impress him with my newly refined taste in wine. And this is what I brought back for him. If I had known that you can get it at Whole Foods for $11, I probably wouldn't have brought this bottle back for him, but he played along and he had it and he smiled and thought it was really good. And I still think it's really, really good. There's obviously a lot of great wines out there, but this guy for $11, it's amazing. I only brought 3 bottles back from Argentina, and this was one of them. So obviously I thought really highly of it, and I still do now. It's a standby for us. We drink it all the time. Has this super, super dark, plummy red color. So negro means like black in Spanish. And so I think the idea behind the bottle and then the name of it, Tinto Negro, is that it's just like, it looks like black. Like Malbec is a really dark colored grape. It smells so good. It's one of those things when you smell the wine and it brings you back to the place that you had it the first time. So I smell this and it brings me back to Mendoza, which is a really special quality of wine that, you know, you don't get in like all commodities, but wine can like bring you back to that place that you had it the first time. It's delicious. Maldec's so good. In Argentina, they even there's like this one McDonald's that's in Mendoza. And it's not this bottle of wine, but they do serve a specific Malbec there. And it's the only McDonald's in the world that serves wine. So, fun fact about Argentina. So last step, last bottle of wine on Break the Glass in 2020. Gotta be a bubbly, right? Gotta celebrate, go out in bubbles, end the year in bubbles. I definitely will. I'll end the year in bubbles, start the year in bubbles, continue the year with bubbles. I love bubbles. But yeah, so we're finishing the year off with this bubbly rosé. This is Le Grand Courtage, which is from France. It's a Cremant. And so Cremant means that it's a style of winemaking that happens in France, and it's exactly pretty much the same as making a champagne. So you're getting like the quality of champagne, but you're not paying champagne prices. So rather than getting that $50 or $60 bottle of champagne, you can get the $14 bottle of Cremant. We got this guy for $14 on sale. I think it's usually like $18, but you know, it's just around that $15 price range. And it's a blend of 3 different grapes. There's Chardonnay, Ugni Blanc, and Gamay. And they just make this really beautiful Cremant out of it. Again, super affordable, really, really awesome bottle of bubbly. We used to sell this at the shop that I worked at as well. And I remember when the wine distributor, he came in with, they make a white as well, like a bubbly white. We tried them both and they're both delicious. So again, I was super excited to go into the store down here in Texas after I had lived in Vermont for a while. And I was still able to see it on the shelves. So that's another thing that we try to do on the show. I try to just highlight wines that I know that you can get like around the country. Because why would I don't know, what's the use of me highlighting a bottle of wine that you guys can't get everywhere. So that's another thing I try to do. Whew. Surprised me. But yeah, so let's end the year with some bubbles. I love like when you open up the bottle of bubbly and it's all like smoky looking on the inside. Super cool. Smells amazing. Well, cheers. It's so good. There's 12 grams of residual sugar in this, which like really isn't that much. It's a little on the sweeter side, but it's not terrible. But I still think it's amazing. Okay, so that's it for wine in 2020. Just kidding, you should totally drink more wine. I'm gonna. But so yeah, that's all that we have for the end of the year, regardless of like however, you know, crazy this year was for you. I know it was definitely a strange one, all the ups and downs and the highs and lows and, you know, not knowing what's going on. There's like been at least one thing that was super consistent for me this year, and that was that like I've always enjoyed a really good bottle of wine, and I hope that you guys do too. This upcoming year, 2021, we're going to continue to put out some content. We try to put things out about every other week. We're consistent with it. We've been getting better and better about it, and I think that, you know, each episode we keep trying to perfect it more, enhancing it. I'm less awkward on the camera, hopefully. But yeah, I hope you check out our episodes that we have coming up. Should be one in a few weeks. And yeah, I just hope you guys have a great holiday, awesome New Year's, and continue drinking some really great wine. Cheers.